Alrighty, hello, module 5. Now, gentlemen, we're into legal jargon that you need to know. Now, like me, probably most of you are not lawyers, have never studied law, possibly. So what I'm going to go through now is parenting plans, consent orders, matrimonial agreements, separation agreements, and just give you a background into what they are, what they look like, so you're prepared for when you see them or when you get exposed to them, when people start talking to you about them, because you will be exposed to all this legal stuff, okay? And it will benefit you tenfold knowing a bit about it before you actually see it, before you're actually involved in it. Okay, so that's what we're going to do here, is just go through brief description of different things. I mean, they might have different terms across different countries across the globe, but they're all very similar. Okay, so you will see a lot of them there. What's right for you in your situation? Well, depends on what your outcome's going to be, and depends on, how much stuff you bring to the breakup. Like, do you own houses, businesses, assets, share portfolios? Is there property? How many kids you got? All right, there's a lot of variables there to see that will contribute to what degree you'll need all this legal stuff. All right, but as I say, like everything, check out your local state or province, okay, to see what is used and what's common practice in your area. All right, okay, and also when you're going through this legal side of it, don't lie, okay? Don't overstate anything. Don't give false truths, all right? Because everything will come out, all right? And if you get found out legally falsifying something, whether it's an income level or how much you have the kids or what you've contributed to the house or anything like that, it will come out, and it's just going to decrease your credibility in the breakup, okay, in the division of everything. If you get a judge or a court offside or lawyers by falsifying some information, it's hard to build back that integrity, okay? So just be honest. Be brutally honest with all this stuff, all right? Good work. Okay, so let's jump in and get you a little bit of information about all this legal jargon. Okay, all right, let's get stuck into it. The first one we're looking at here, you'll need something in writing, but which documentation will best serve you? Okay, quickly, the photo of me there is that's me actually working through my legal advice that I got, preparing the consent orders and separation agreements, power of attorney, will. There was a lot of stuff going through there. That was from the company I use was Family Law Solutions, a lady by the name of Bernadette Farnell, so very good. Anyway, okay, back to you. All right, so you'll need something in writing, but which documentation will serve you? Okay, so I guess the main things to consider here when looking at the legal documents that are available to you, first of all, we consider is the relationship you have, all right, with the ex-partner. Also, what you have, as in what material possessions need to be divided. Also look at your children, what age they are, dependence levels, and what their needs are. Okay, so those main three factors will determine what documents you need to get in place before pre-divorce. All right, so let's look at a parenting plan at the moment. So a parenting plan is it's an informal written document that sets out the arrangements of in regards to the child or the children. Okay, so who has them, who takes them where, how long do you have them for, whose responsibility it is to do certain things with them, how decisions will be made on their behalf, okay, medical treatment, where they'll spend their birthdays, all the things like that, who has contact with the children, when they're with you, if she can make phone calls at night or you can call her when the children are with her. All these little things, all right, these are the things you need to think about. Okay, I mean, it can be a case of if the children are with you and she keeps ringing them, it's going to impact your time with the kids. Okay, so stipulate that it can be one phone call of a night if they're with you. Something along those lines, all right? I guess it depends on their age, if they've got phones themselves or iPads. Now, also look at things like special needs that they have, like homework or medication they might be required to take. If there's a part-time job involved, if your child's that age where they might have a part-time job, so who takes them to the job and who picks them up? Is it a responsibility of each parent that has them that night? Now, a parenting plan doesn't need approval from the court, okay, so it's not legally forcible. Okay, it is a guide. It does, when I say that, it will help contribute in the divorce proceedings. Okay, it'll give evidence and support to what has been happening leading up to the divorce. Okay, and so which is a good thing to have in place, and it will help your case. It is, however, better than a verbal agreement because it's in writing. Okay, it's, as I say, it's not legally forcible, but it is better than a verbal agreement. All right, which means to say that it is not binding. And to say not binding, now, let's say if one party does not abide by it, there's not a hell of a lot that the other party can do. Okay, so if you're meant to have the kids, and if you say in this plan that yes, she can call once a night in the afternoon to speak to the kids after school, and if she's calling 3 or 4 times, there's nothing you can do about it except put your phone on silent or turn it off. Okay, you can't legally enforce a parenting plan. A cost for this is not a lot. It's only like $1,000 to get it done up, and there's a filing fee. I know in Australia our filing fee is like $160 to get that in place. But I say a big thing, it will depend on the relationship if you can go that way. You might have to go straight for like a separation agreement, or like a legal separation, or like a consent order. Okay, so with a consent order, this is like a parenting agreement, and it is same thing again. It's all issues around the child, division of property. Now, how things will get divided once the divorce happens, or maybe even before the divorce. So if you're separated and you put the house on the market, for instance, I'm just using the house as an example of an asset or a material thing. Okay, it could be anything. It could be a car, could be share portfolios that you have in joint name, anything along those lines. So in this consent order separation agreement, you will have what happens to the division of funds once the sale and that goes through. All right, all this is around children. Now these ones here are put together by a lawyer. Okay, so and it does go to court for approval. So this is a step above a parenting plan, and it is legally forcible. Okay, it is put together by the courts. Now the court approves this, the matter is final, and it's very hard to change. Okay, and then it is enforced. All right, so this is where you do have grounds to challenge it if she's not living up to the agreement, so to speak. There are, for these things here, you will find guidelines on the web about the separation agreement that you can follow, but as I say, it's everything to do with the kids and disbursement of funds along those lines, and it is enforceable by the courts. All right, now another thing we want to look at now is community property or equitable distribution. Okay, now this is mainly for you guys in the US when it comes to the division of property and property and material assets, I guess. Okay, so now the difference here is community property is everything is split down the middle. So it looks at all your income, your property, your debts that have been accumulated during the marriage, and splits them straight down the middle. Okay, now that is only in 9 states in America that follow that law. The rest pretty much go with the other way, which is the equitable distribution. Now, equitable distribution looks at array of factors. Okay, many things contribute here. Now, it's also known as common law. Okay, so anything that you've had pre-marriage, okay, will stay with you. All right, so that will be, those assets will be looked at outside of what was accumulated during the marriage. All right, so you've got the community property, you're all together, Equitable distribution is anything that was yours before the marriage is yours. Okay, anything inside the marriage, then that will get split. Okay, so it'll look at, like any inheritances that were brought in, and it is more complicated than the other one, than the community property, but it is, I think it has been referred to as like common law, somewhere along those lines. So it's probably more just if someone's brought something more to the marriage than the other party. Okay, so that's the two things that you'll look at there. And as I say, do your research, find out what state you're in to know if that's applicable in your situation. Okay, so that's a brief outline of those documents there. I think the next one we're going to look at moving on to the property settlements. I'll see you in the next slide. Bye for now.